Hey everybody, this is Perch. Let's reach into that mailbag. It says, comics are an LOL cow. Okay. Reminds me of a while back. This is more than a year ago. I don't remember. Um, Somebody was trying to explain to me. They were trying to explain Kiwi Farms, and I understand Kiwi Farms. I remember the Usenet back before there was AOL discs, so I'm familiar with message boards and the shenanigans that go on message boards. Anyway, they were explaining to me what an LOL cow was, and it was kind of a charming conversation because I'm like, I'm aware. But the person was like, say, like, I know you're older. It's like, yep, thanks, but thank you, millennial, thank you very much. Anyway, I protest too much, I know, but these terms are not that hard to figure out. I guess that's the summary there. Anyway, it says, hey Perch, you've skirted around this topic a few times, but it occurred to me that it's worth a longer discussion. Comics on the internet aren't really about comics anymore. Comics are an LOL cow cult. Now I can't even say it right. What is an LOL cow cult? Well, if you didn't know, we're about to learn. Basically, it's a community that forms around laughing at an internet personality that is A, cringy and embarrassing, and B, addicted to publishing themselves to such a degree that they're always uploading new shit to laugh at. You've just described this channel. Thank you. People in this position are LOL cows because they may be continually milked for LOLs. I want to pause here for just a moment and say I hate LOL. I've hated it from its early birthing days, which I think does go all the way back to AOL online. I don't know why I hate that term because it's absurd. Like I'm laughing out loud. It's the shortening. I know this is making me sound like an old boomer, and I get it. But it's like you don't need to abbreviate that. It's okay. Anyway, there's a whole spectrum. I understand that though it's a thing and blah blah blah. There's a whole spectrum of this shit, from Gothic King Cobra, who I think has a cult that mostly likes him, to Chris Chan, whose cult actively fucks with him to such a degree that it's made all of his problems incessantly worse. It's basically a hobby of a recreational secret policing, and whatever you think about it, it's a strong and identifiable strand of behavior on the internet. It doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. That's a charming thought. Comics and comic creators are a LOL cow. A whole cottage industry exists, arguably you're part of it, commenting on their daily antics and follies. There are trolls who fuck with them, recap videos, responding to their fresh deliveries of idiocy, and the whole thing. It's a little different from a regular LOL cow, and that's not a bunch of anonymous people over scrutinizing a poor, mentally ill weirdo. It's a bunch of branded people scrutinizing another bunch of poor, mentally ill weirdos. God damn. The pointing and laughing is a lot of the content. All right, I'm going to protest here a little bit. That's not what comics is. Comics is entertainment. It's stuff to react to. This is people reacting to it. I think I would get this analogy if there wasn't a established decades-long business involved in it, and there is. I know it's easy to say comics are failing, comics monies are going away, but put it this way, even the lower number of the American comic business is still a business that a lot of people would like the money from. Still good money. And you could argue you could make more money doing this or that, but it's still healthy money. And I think again, could it be more? Absolutely. I've talked on this channel many times. It could be more, should be more. With $1 billion properties that are being taken to movies, it should be a lot more. But the reality is it still is making money. Manga is making a lot of money right now. YA is making a lot of money. There's lots of stuff, but it is a product that's going on the shelf, printed, everything else. And the one thing I'd just caution with all this is that when you're on the internet and you're listening to YouTube, you're on Twitter, it's easy to believe that you are the center of the universe, that your experience on YouTube or Twitter or social media or whatever it happens to be is the epicenter of everything. The reality is it's not. The estimates still maintain that Twitter makes up less than 5% of the comic buying audience. Less than 5%. Most people are not paying attention. Now, that doesn't mean that there's 95% people happy with comics. To the contrary, if they were, you'd see different numbers. You'd see more money there. But it's inaccurate to say that everybody is laughing at it. A tiny fraction of the audience on the internet is laughing at it, and it's questionable whether that tiny audience, to put it bluntly, matters. If it went away, put it this way, if one of the audiences of comics had to go away, the audience mocking it on social media, it could survive without it. It couldn't survive with the other group leaving it, the bigger group. Anyway, Back to the mail. I'll admit that my day-to-day engagement with comics is somehow boiled down to listening to YouTube videos about how fucked the modern industry is and occasional wistful conversations with friends about how cool comics were in the past. The change happened so gradually that I barely even noticed it. That's true of a lot of people, to be fair, which is an interesting clue. I still in the abstract like comics, but when I go into the shops, the wall of new releases looks like static to me. There's really nothing that jumps out, and when I do take a $5 chance on a book, I'm disappointed. But daily on YouTube, I'm getting these little updates about cringy shit Heather is posting, or Scott Kurtz, or Mark Brooks, or wherever. So you see, the virus is social media. Just putting that out there. My main form of entertainment, comics, is now looking at the people who work in it and laughing at their poor life decisions and addictions to publicity. And since there's a big audience for these videos, I know I'm not alone. Well, sort of. I mean, there's an audience. I don't know if this is a big audience. It's an audience. How the hell does an industry come back from that? Well, there is a way. We'll get to it. Is the comics Lolcow cults still an audience of potential readers, or they have become something else? But more importantly, will Scott Kurtz post something stupid and humiliating today? I'm on the edge of my seat. Kidding aside, I'd like to give you some hope here. Well, here comes your hope. First of all, let me just say I appreciate you writing that. Just putting it out there. I do very much appreciate that, because I think a lot of people think these things. They don't say it. They don't articulate it. So thank you. You just laid it out there, and it is something that's going on. And I think if you are a comic professional, you're in comics, you ought to sit back and listen to that mail again. Just not. You don't have to agree with it. In fact, you won't agree with it. But you should understand the perception. You should understand that that is a point of view, and it's a growing point of view, although still small. But that's a mentality of some of the readers. So what's the solution to this? How can comics come back from this? Absolutely. You know how? It stops giving a shit about the internet. Full stop. Which includes the weird little cringy drama stories. It means, burning with fire, the social media, baiting and the desperate desire for likes. I mean, you're talking cringy. There are creators who are trying to get into comics who post about the likes on tweets, who post about their lack of engagement, what Joe Glass talking about losing followers. Like that, every bit of that is poison and toxic and bullshit, and why it's stuck. Comic creators have to stop giving a shit about all of that and have to worry about, putting out the best stories they can. Doesn't mean they're going to put out amazing stories every time. But the virus of social media, the virus of the internet, all that kind of stuff is toxic to them. And then it has to go further. And the further is to stop caring about the LOL cows, stop caring about Kiwi Farms, stop caring about YouTube, stop caring about all of that, and say, we're going to sit down today and we're going to try and put out the best book we can. Because right now, you're right, there's a cottage industry, or there's a group of people who can easily find a panel in a book that is laughable, including me. I post a panel of this Hazmat. It's this new character in Marvel, trying to get her over. The Marvel's like, this is one of the heroes of tomorrow. I think they've hinted that she'll be an Avenger in the future. And then I was reading an interview on CBR, or one of these sites, where it's like, I don't know why the readers. It's sad that the comic readers and buyers won't give new heroes a chance. It's like, why won't they give new heroes a chance? Well, because in the comic, you've got a dragon terrorizing the town, and Spider-Woman's like, hey, come on, Hazmat, we need to go fight this dragon. Hazmat's like, I'm going to eat tacos right now. Leave me alone. It's like, yeah, that's why the character's not getting over. Right there, stuff like that. One panel, again, taken out of context. Eventually the character kind of puts the taco down, never does get into the fight, because, it's over by the time it gets there. But that's the stuff that you can comment on. And we've got a knee-jerk reaction in the internet, on YouTube, on social media, to react to that kind of stuff. It's what we've been fed, so we're responding to it. But the reality is, it's not healthy, it's not good, and the best thing the comic industry could do is to ignore that side of it as well. Blow it off. To name my perception of the publishers is they are too fixated with the internet. They're too fixated with playing to Twitter. They're too fixated playing Facebook. They're too fixated with playing to the personalities there, both pro and con. A lot of people give a lot of attention to them trying to milk likes and get people to respond and make kind of baiting comments that are going to get easy engagement. Sure, that absolutely does happen. It's happening plenty. They're also plagued to the dislikes. Look at what Mark Brooks posts on a regular basis. Why does he spend so much time focusing on things that seem to drive him insane? Why would he do that? There's no value to it. He doesn't. There's no benefit. He's making himself crazy when he does that. Comics and the professionals, the people who work in it, and the stories fixate on this stuff, and it's turning out crap work. And when it turns out crap work, it creates more of this, Lolcow mocking behavior, more videos, and so it's a vicious cycle. The best thing that could happen is full stop, focus on your comics, focus on the story, stop worrying about whether you're getting over or not, and just worry about the quality of the work. That's pretty hard to do, but that is the answer, and it's a super, super easy answer, to be honest. That's pretty much as easy as it gets. Anyway, I don't know, a lot to think about. I'm anxious to see the comments on this one, to see where everybody goes with it. It's a hell of a thing. Comics are a hell of a drug. I think that's where it comes down to. Anyway, I'm sure there's more nuance to it, but in my basic belief, stop feeding the beast, and things will get better. In this case, the beast it cuts multiple ways. Simple as that, right? Anyway, make my channel irrelevant, comics. I'd love it. Thanks for listening.